Catch me now that I am high, 'cause nothing can stop me when you reach the sky. I am in the oasis of the heavens. I am the mango march. I am the love angel of passage. And when it says mango, it says it is exotic. It is to go. It is the E-world entrance exit of the ex-god of the ex-man. It's written small because if it rose above the E, it would show that it is a division of, and would have to get the number 6. The E is 5, the X is 6. That is the wolf of connection between Omega and the beta existence. 20, T. How does beta exist in T? Well, because like I told you before, when you do the 4 corners, it's automatically 20. Once you get 20, you have the beta world. It's complete. Now it's the beginning. The beta world is complete. That's why it's 20. It's not 21 or 20 point something, because actually it's the point something of what it actually will be. You see, our year of 2012 is actually 20.12 right now. 20.12 says that it's over. Because the Mayan, although they count by 52s, they also have a cycle in the 777 world of 21. So what has to happen is the first 2 numbers represent one God and one God, and the third number is into creation. The minute you hit that third number, you're into creation. What do you create? You create the one spirit of the 4 angle of beta. Heaven. Heaven is beneath and above you. For every time you take a step forward, your head only points towards your balls. But your balls are dangling towards the floor and the bells are going off. So the one stick in between has to take a choice. And he doesn't care where the energy comes from, this ball or that ball. All he needs to know is it needs to ravel up and go on out. The energy of God exists. He is high and above. He is the Lord. He is within. He is the breath that you take, as he is so broken up, our God, that he is broken up into every particle of air that ever existed. He can stop everything from going off and on. Off and on, easiest way to say it is 1415. Because the 14th letter and the 15th letter is O and N. So where does the F come about? Well, since the 15 equals 6 in pi, and the 6th letter is F, you now have on and off, and you haven't switched a letter. But to get to pi, we all start with the point. So what is the point of the matter of on and off? On is creation. And since 14 is the N letter and 15 is the O letter, it says no. So if it says no, it can't say off. Do you know why? Because O, N, O, the O is second to Omega next to the N, which is the 14th letter. It is one higher, means the one spirit into the higher world. The 15th ball and pool, the last ball, us entering into the worlds. So right away it's off because it's on. Because now you're in another level, so what you were off now from, you're on to something else. So now you have off and on and on and off, and you just keep going back and forward until you get it right. Because what you're actually doing is you're jumping over 8 into 7 to go into one world, right? And that can be the 4 worlds, or over to 7, because you need to be transferred from 7 over to 6. Now, in all actuality, okay, the 7 and the 6, what it's all about is about these dice. I'm going to show you what it actually means. I have to find a piece of paper. Okay. Here it goes. I'm just going to design it here and talk over here and do my thing, and you'll see the way this ends up to come out as you see it. Don't ever forget what's in the center. Now here's what it is. 1 and 6, 4 and 3, 2 and 5. But where's the 7, 8, and 9? The 7, 8, and 9 exists, okay, because that's the in-between world of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the other side. Okay, and now what you do, okay, is you have 7 to 6 and 9 to 4. Now what you have is 7 to 6. So you've created yourself when you jumped to the 7, okay, this area over here is all connected. They're not connected like this. It makes a butterfly. Okay, you know the here. Let me show you. Part of sort of like a honeycomb or a clam's nest. Okay, there's a lot of stuff you do with the numbers, and the image that it creates, or will the numbers are, creates an image, and that image is a clam, because I had it in a dream about a year or so ago. Never really knew or understood what it meant, but it actually showed me how vibrating works, and the understanding of vibrating, because we're going over and under wires. Or I can tell you we're going over and under anything, because it's just what I tell you. And how do you know? Because I have no proof right now. Okay, so I understand that. I'm with you deep into your hearts. Deep, 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 deep. This night, I had a reflection just before I did this. Boom, haven't smoked like a good joint in 5 days, and boom, smoke a good joint, and I see it, I feel it, the energy, we are connected. Let me take out the battery of this stupid phone. There you go, battery's out. Pretty easy, eh? Didn't take too much thought. Okay, so where are we going to go next? What were we talking about? What were the Mayas? Oh, yes, the 20-year, okay, of 0.12, which means the beta world, the 12th year. So now the question comes like this. We are God's little girls. The 12th year is the year of the period. Now, what does that mean to this earth? What is happening to this earth? This is the 2012 year. 1 and 2 is 3 creation. This comes together as one, meaning this has nothing to do anymore with the full influx of what we were supposed to be created into. I think we've reached that level of where we had to go. There's nowhere else to go right now. I just thought of it for some reason because it's very scary. Okay, when you've reached the limit, so do the Illuminatis know you've reached the limit. They know the numbers. They know all the numbers I know. They have to know them, because if somebody good knows something, the evil must know the same thing. We're just off by a hairline fracture of the difference in time as it weebles and wobbles, giving no side really more advantage on the next stop of anyone else, because he's never on the same side of the line. If you ever see Stevie Wonder doing this, is because he's going through spirit and through soul, the two worlds that connect down by his neck. Give him the X near his heart, pointing over to the top of his nose, and he can see that way, because the two elements of the heavens have come together in a blind man who no longer use the reflect to go into the eye and use the X in the eye to see, right? They don't need the back connection, the front connection anymore, because it doesn't work. So they work on the back connection. So instead of the V doing this, the V is now upside down, and now it's reconnecting through your ears. So when the spirit comes down sharp on this side of your head or sharp on this side of your head, if you keep your head straight, right, maybe it'll miss you. But wait a second, the wrong angle. So you understand, when it comes in, it just doesn't come in as one little point. It comes in formation in order to make sure it doesn't miss the triangles between one side of your head and the other side of your head. That's why Jesus was like this, and the Da Vinci Code in the Last Supper, it was in representation of the final birth spirit, because that's the way his head was tilted. But if I was behind Jesus, well, then the phone would be pointing this way, and the one would be in this corner, and then I'd be talking Jewish. That's the reason for the Jewish language and everybody writing from the other side. Don't forget, not only are there two sides, okay, but there's the higher and lower side, and then northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. So each side now spreads out, and you've broken up this whole globe into how many parts? Oh my God, what, 64? Whatever it is, show me a number, I'll tell you what it is. This is insanity. So how can he give us the knowledge or the will to want to learn, but yet learn? And say, how come, what's it good for? Because 20 years ago, that's what I would have said. So I wouldn't have learned because I didn't want to learn. I wouldn't accept what it was. To me, it meant nothing, so I let it go. Everything means nothing. And it's between all the nothing that I have found everything. You are between the two sides of creation. You're in the middle of Beta's belly. That means God is on the outside everywhere. He holds you around the hips. Okay? Isn't that a good place to hold around the hips? Elvis Presley wants to move his hips. Okay? And what the Beatles sang, and another one, Eleanor Rigby. Oh, which one? The Ellen or the Rigby? Angel resident birth. It would be so fine if I wasn't so split between the Y. But since I mentioned split between the Y, I'm going to come on here and show you what I really wanted to show you. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you everything. So at the beginning, it's going to be boring. So I'm going to have a little bit of juice because I can't take a break away from you. You want to go get something too? I'll wait 30 seconds and I won't say a word. So, in respect for all those who want to take a break at 11 minutes right now, okay, I'm going to take a 1-minute break, just like in the poker. It's fair to everybody. If you don't want to go, I'm sorry, you'll have to put it on pause, and then you're going to miss the in-between talk, the commercial breaks, and see what goes on. Because I need a little juice. If you run out of the oasis, my friends, the oasis is the spirit energy of God. Okay, he's what goes inside the ground and makes it rust. He's a Ryman Lyman. He mixes everywhere. He knows all the mixtures. And why is he in all the mixtures? Because of the moisture. The touch of something that's slick. Anything that when the water is removed, the substance falls. Watch out for he and H. The elements in which I do not know, right? I will tell you one thing. Because I know the dice, this is a totality, okay, of a group of elements, okay, from 9 different worlds. The number 12, it's a total. I'm not using it with the spirit in it because the spirit is the crack in the middle of the dice. That's the separation of the 2 dice. What's missing? The storyteller, me. I'm the I. But these 2 little dice, you think we can fit these dice in our head somewhere? Hey, I'm man number 6. Oh, but I'm only in second. Wait. If I moved to the middle of the screen, I'd be in first. No, can't do it. Did I tell you that in bowling, when they put the pins 1, 2, 3, they can also put the pins 1, 3, 2? They can do that in horse racing also. Every single game, bowling, pool, anything that hangs out in an arcade, whatever pairs up, you put that together, you make an equation just of that. And whatever you get out of that little thing is just an added bonus to the bigger picture. We have to do what we were taught. We can use the itty-litty-gritty of our fingers, and then we need the machines. So God needs us to be the little tiny fingers that will create those machines to get even smaller. Is there only really how small can you get? Now try and figure this out. If we're actually supposed to be the size of 1 DNA molecule, that means presently, right now, God is approximately 11 billion miles by 11 billion miles in size, basically. Because don't forget, okay, when you break yourself up in space, it doesn't mean you have to take the entire space. You use the universal power, okay, inside of you to spread out your energy between the difference in and I'm thinking it's 22.5 degrees, I think, I'm not sure, between the angles of each line. And then the energy, okay, because it'll be a ring. It'll be that degrees up to the ring, and then from that ring to another ring, and then it spreads out to another ring. So each one has to be a certain distance, and on an angle, okay, an opening of 22.5 degrees. What is the angle of descent? I do not know. I'm only telling you that because that would be 90 minutes on a clock, which would be 1:30, and 90 minutes on a clock is 9:0, which means the O10 world of God. In the 90, that means the birth section of beta. So that's a birth, 90. So now I have to explain to you, if I didn't forget, and I did forget, I'm going to try to remember, of what we have with that 90. So beta is born, so now it's 91, spirit. 92, the beta world. 9 and 3, creation. Now you got 9 and 4, that's what I was missing. You see, when you come in as 9, the one spirit of 6, because that's the opposite reflection, if you take a look at the way it's designed on the telephone, how one finds 6 is by lowering a level and going over 2 levels. Wait a second, what do you mean 2 levels? Go down 1 level, okay, but the down 1 level is only underneath. You see, you forgot about the space. When you go to telephone, you press 1, okay, that's a level, there's an in-between level, and then the other level. The levels are always in between. Have you ever measured that the difference between the top one and the bottom one, okay, the halfway point is the in-between of each? Do you understand what I'm saying? You take the empty space and you put the 2 keys like as close as you can get. And as close as you can get, there's still that empty space. And that empty space is the empty space that God can't get. And he gets it, okay, with the energies and vibrations and whatever other substance he uses. Anyways, forget about all this. I put this up, number 66. So when you have 66, you have one business here, you have one business on the bottom one, but they're not joined together. Okay, you got one on the top of the business, and you got one on the bottom of the business, 2 separate businesses. You put them together as 6 and 6. Okay, so that means if you went to 66 in the element, what's it called? And let me look that up and see what I get, because I have not looked. I have not looked myself. Pi, crap, periodic table. 66. It says D and Y, and it says what color is it? I can't really make out the color. I think it says a rare earth metal. Rare earth metal. So listen to this. Where are you on the screen here? Listen to this. Rare earth metal. So if it's a rare earth metal, the reason is because they're here and they're not together. Okay? 2 different worlds. Okay? Only when you put the 1 in the center to connect the birth on it, that's why I said the 90 before, can you come up with this. So now they have to find the element that goes between that will function the center world. What is the center world? They don't have the center world. It's a rare element because they seem to either can't find it or what they use it for. I would like to know, because a 6 on the opposite side is a 7. So now what we're going to do is go back to the element table, periodic table, and we're going to look up 11, because 11 to 66, right, brings 6 plus 1 is 7, and 6 plus 1 is 7. We're going to equalize them at 7 in the 777 world. In fact, let me go back again. We're in 2012, what we started, okay, and look at this. 20 goes together as the beta world, right? Now you can also put 2 point. In this situation, go 2 point and 3 zeros, okay? But the 0 would be nothing anyways. So you make the value at 2, 1 step higher, and every card goes up 1 step higher. So instead of having 3.1415, you have 31.1415. Screw the decimal point. We only want the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let the decimal point fool you all the time. Can't fool me. Of course can fool me. What do I know? Okay, let me go on. Oh, I'm sitting on, my orange juice just spilled on me. So anyways, we were talking about 2012. So that means the 12 would come together, because in this world, you need 2, alpha and beta. To you, it's 1 person and 1 person. You need the 2. Okay, in this world to create, you need the earth, the sand, you need the human beings, you need the animals, and then you can do it. In God's world, he does it different, okay? But in this world, this is the way it's done. So we have 2012. So what does 1 and 2 mean? 3. What is December? 1 and 2, 3. What is the 21st? 1 and 2, 3. 3, 3, 3. Now, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, 114 days, okay? 114 days. That is the pig's pregnancy. And the pig represents the world. Okay? The pig represents the world many times. And one of the big things is, on a regular sow, which is a pig, these are her titties. All 12 of them. And she can make just about 18 babies. And she can make 18 babies because we're playing this world with 3 dice, the in-between world. For that reason. This represents, and not only that, because the pig can have the 3 dice, right? What happens, okay, is there's a 1, and I don't have that other dice with me, becomes 1, 1, 1 world. And now my mouse has fallen. And now my mouse is fallen. 1, 1, 1 world. Anyways, I don't want to lose my trend of thought. The 333 is the pig's pregnancy, 114 days, which is 2 sticks, and a 4, which is a D. But when you have 14, it's the letter N. When you have the letter, it's a K. K and N. N, the sound of it is E-N. So you have Ken, which means the doll Ken. And it is the opening of Barbie. Barbie has come to our door. Why Barbie? Because it starts with a B. That's why Barbie. Listen to the music. Watch the movies. You got to know what all the Barbies do. Just names of fun. Why do you think all these actors have all these drugs and write this great music? Because they get into the same world that I'm in. It's outstanding. All you want to do is go out there and perform for the people constantly over and over again. Always believing that you're good, and if you're smart enough to know that you're not good at all, and even if you are the best, to never stop striving towards 10. Because once you get to 10, a 10 is a 6 with no spirit in it, and a 10 is a 4 with no spirit in it, or a 10 is a 5 and a 5. And in between, to make it 5, 5, 5, right, you put the deck of cards inside the package. You close the doors with these, 5 and 5. You have 5, 5, 5 in the box. You have 5, 10, 15. 5 for man, 10 for God, because he's of both worlds. 5, 10, 15. 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 1.25 times the 4 suits is 5. Now we're back to the 3333s. This year, it unlocks the door. On the 7th of July of 2007, on a Sabbath day, it fell the first day of the Creator's birth gates. The gates and passage into this world was the 7th of July 2007 when the first one came to be here. I'm talking about back in time. This is the first birthday. In the Jewish history, it was 5767. Spirit of God, the wolf, the passage of the Mediterranean, and pi, 3.1415, or I'm sorry, 3.1. Whoops! If I say 3.1 and I want to correct myself in pi with 3.1, in between that is 2. So I'll just throw out the 1 and 3 and I'll just put 2.15. And that says B, beta, alpha, E. Beta, alpha, E. Bay. On the bay. Why do we throw out the 1 and 3? We throw out the 1 and 3 because in between on the phone, the 1 and 3, there's a 2. So if you suck in the average of the outside and the inside, you will have a 2. So now your pi comes down to 2.15. See what you can do with that. All right? Bring in the average. Letters will spread out. Maybe, you see, if they're running pi, like music, on the wrong level, well, of course it's going to continue. You're on the wrong level. You're in a formation where it just keeps, you know, just keeps going up and down and all around. So you got to change it. So now, 1, 5, and between 1 and 5, well, let's reduce that too. And between 1 and 5 is the 3. 1 to 3. 1 to 3 is 2. And 5 to 3 is 2. So now we got life. 22 is the life. So we put 3 in the center. And now in pi, all we're left with is a 2 and a 3. Number 23. BC, beta creation. Thus you have how it all started in the numbers. So we have pi left over with a 2 and a 3. So now what we have to do is, because we can't find formation, we have to find something in between the two that'll connect them together, but maybe we may have to separate them at the same time, giving them space and a separation so that we can put something in the fivefold that we can really express what their real value is. So every time things pyramid up and things come from the center, when you go in a pyramid, you come from the bottom, you're actually in the center. You know, when you get thrown at the bottom of a pyramid, you may be at the bottom, but you're actually like a bunch of marbles or gum in a machine, and eventually you find yourself in the middle or somewhere on the side of something, but you're never at the bottom, and the pyramid goes up and up. 2012. What was I just talking about? Oh my God, and it was good. In a pyramid, 1 and 2, A and B. Oh yes, pi, between 2 and 3. So let's find a number. 2.5. And we'll go down, and we got 2.5. Now, what can we do with 2.5? Number 2.5. Got 2.5. 2.5. I need paper. I need paper. 2.5. The new pi is 2.5. And now by doing 2.5, okay, in doing 2.5, you now need a middle between the two. All we have is the decimal, but there's a difference. So we're now going to create 2 new worlds on each side. Now, how do we do this? Well, we have to check it out. To create 2 worlds that create this equals to 1.25, 1.25, which is equal to 1.25, 1.25. Now, what we're going to do next, okay, what we're doing next is that in a 10-10 world, as God connects his corners, then he connects the life, because he's actually this life, okay? And heaven is actually man. Because when man walks and the spirit goes through the both sides of his neck, he takes in part the heavens, both spirit and soul that penetrate, that go through. His birth is here. The gates have opened up for man's pass. The spirit comes over to man's pass. Always the same angles. This is the added world in between here. But when we reflect it and chop the worlds in half on top, we end up just with this. But these 2 numbers should just say 1 and 3. So anyways, let me go to the 10-10 world. 1.25, when you cross from here to here, is 1 time. When you cross from here to here is another time. Okay? This is 10-10 is 100. But the value cut in the center diminishes because the sides are whole and the middle gets cut up. So you went by here once, twice. Although you can go 4 directions. Right now we're working on 2. You went through here twice. The average becomes 5. 5 times 5 is 25. The third cut is over here. Times 5 is 1.25. Now what happens, since we did this world, right, and we had 1 world, now we have to make 2 more worlds. 1 to get this 125 and 1 to get this 125. 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. And divide that by 2 is 62.5 times the omega. Okay. So what happens now? Okay. We do these 2 worlds. Now these 2 worlds come out. Okay. We have to calculate the time in between. Okay. So we bring this world in and this world in. Okay, and in this instance, okay, because I only want to work on 1 world right now, because at the end there's only 1 world. Okay, so at the end right now, we take this 1 world and we split it in half. Why don't I split this one in half? Because they both get split in half. At the end, you need 4 parts, 4 suits, okay? So that's why I only want to work with one right now. That's all I need, okay? So now I have to split this 1.25 in half, and I get 625. Now, the world we are in, okay, is the world of O8. O8 means Omega, heaven. Z is the 26th letter. 2 and 6 is 8. Why am I not using the H? Because the 8 is the descriptive that I will show you how it comes to be the H and the I. And just by saying H, you do not need to say the I, because you're looking, you see, we're this way in the beta world, right? Everything we say is sideways or this way, because beta is like this into us, or on this angle, and the other world is on this angle. So when we talk, it's one way, and then the other one is this way. 2 different worlds, 1 person, broken up into different parts inside of us. We're black and red, and then the elements of the spirit is the red diamond, and the body is the spade, and that's why it's the strongest element, because it's the element that's connected to you, and that's why it became the strongest card. The weakest card is the club, because it's the smartest card. Okay? The spade, the wicked spade, is the strongest card because it's part of your body. It gets to know everything. It shares with you all your thoughts, so it can do anything it wants. The brain is only allowed to tell you the truth, and that's the club. And so it has no value, really. But it gets number 4 value as the 4 angle of angel. That's God's card, basically. That's the guard of Christ. What was I talking about? So, yeah, you have the 4 suits, and then you have the heart, which is man, and you have the diamond and the spade, and I think, and I did the club, and the heart. And the heart is always broken. The reason for that is because it always has to divide from which side it's going to take. So you break the heart up to decide. One part is the spade, one part is you. The spade thinks with you. You ask the spade asks you. That's your hookup. The spade is your body parts. Is your hookup. Anyways, we're going to go on to something else right now. We were back to 2012. So now we got the 2012, it's 20. 1 and 2 is 3. We got the 3, 3, 3. 3, 3, 3 equals 9. Once all 9 are done, okay, did you just get to 9? Because when you got number 9 in your hand, in truth, when you're dealt a card, and you got 8 cards, and I need 1 more card, when you got that card in your hand, it's 9. It's 9.9999, but it's not 10, because it's everything. The next card will be 10. There is no in-between cards, and you're sitting at a table playing poker, and that's the situation in poker. Don't you see it in poker? Well, you can never get 10. So where are there 9 cards? Where are there actually 9 cards? You get 3 in poker, and then you get 2 in Hold'em, I think. You get 4 and 5. Oh my God! It's in the game of Omaha. Oh, the game of my love. That's insane. 5 cards on the table, 4 cards in your hand. Oh, baby. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I don't know what I was talking about, but how our body is all split up, how our minds are all split up, how God is all split up, how I just wish I can remember. I was talking about 2012, and it's so you can't hit 10. You can't hit 10, okay, because the opening, you see, God did 1 to 9. What was 10? He had to make an opening. That had to be the 10. That's why in tennis, it's love. It's the opening. So he makes 1 opening from his world into the angel world. Then he makes beta from the heaven creation. He has to create 1 hole out of that world, 1 hole into the next world. Now, he's got to attach them together. You can't attach them direct. You only can attach them this way because of the information network, like I was showing you in the thing. So you attach them together. So then you need a door going from there to there and then into the waiting room, and you can't all wait in the same room. because it turns 2 and 8, top and bottom, 4 and 6. So it all turns. So you can't all be in the same room at once. And apparently they're on half floors because the cards, okay, are not exactly in between because of the outline white above the image. Don't let it mislead you. So where was I? Hold on a sec. Got to write something down. Got to write something down. Give me a pen. I had 100 pens here. I had 100 pens. I'm just going to get back to pi. That's what it was doing. What was I thinking? Oh my God, I forgot what I was thinking. The H and the I and pi 2 and 3 went to 625. Okay, let me get back to pi again. Now, I'm going to shorten up this whole thing. We were down to here from pi. I was talking about how I reduced it 23, split them up, brought them back together. I'm at this number right now. Okay. Now, what I do with this number, I'm going to show you how I fix this number. Number 23 was the last number. Okay. Beta creation. 23. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 plus 3 is 5. The total is 11. Okay. Now I'm going to mark down 11. I'm going to show you how I do this. Okay. O, Z, 41, Y, 27, and 27 and 13. See what happens as we get to this number. We get to this number here, but I want to shorten it up even more. O is the 15th letter. Z is the 26th letter. This is a jump letter, the Z, because 7 and 9 jump over the 8. Like I explained earlier, if you go to a roulette wheel, you will see on each side of every number that adds up to 8, like 17 is 8 and 26 is 8. Okay, you will notice there's a 7 and a 9 on each side. They will always be red. They skip over and it creates the letter as an I. It creates an I to C. Why is it an I to C and when it skips over? Because it skips over and skips under. And it creates an I. I'm going to try and show you this. Seven and 9 skip over 8. It creates this I in the center to watch us because there's nothing there. What is God watching? When you have your eye on something, your eye is focused on the center and attention of the something you're watching, creating the I value of the I in the middle of this too. But at the same time he's watching, right? You have to understand from where he watches. You see this line here and this line here? Can you imagine if I remove the outside lines, I will have to center a barrier in between, leaving a center line, creating a big long I or a very large H. But since the world value here is 1, and we all know I talk in 1 square at a time, these are multiple worlds, therefore there should be more lines and more I's. But in roulette, this is the way it looks. Okay, it happens 3 times, 7, 8, and 9. It happens again on 16, 17, 18. It happens again on 25, 26, and 27. What happens when you get to 25 and 27? The 27th place in your alphabet, the 27th place is a void. So we put a Y there because God is Y. God is Y, and He is high. He's also goodbye. Don't be shy. Here I go again. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Why is God just the H? Because one world is actually tilted this way, and one world I think is actually tilted this way. Okay, remember I told you once the one is on this angle, 1 to 9, 3 to 7. Our 2 worlds are like this. So when you look at him, hey, is it an H? Yeah, it's an H. But when he looks at you, it's an I. Hi. At the same time, he says hello. And by the time you raise your hand, you know you've raised all five, and he's five, and he said hi, so you know who you're talking to. So you raise your hand real high. That means I'm saying hi to I, and at the same time, by you raising your hand, you have returned the message. Because hi is I, because of who we are. This is just my arm. If you see the real design of what my arm should actually look like, by the time it gets to the sky, it won't look like this at all. Do you think everything is a straight line back to heaven? Do you know how weak that would make the strands of matrix? A straight line is nothing without a cross. It's the cross and the Christ energy that fulfills. Have you ever looked at a cross? There's 4 posts, all connected to one man. 4 posts, 1 man. 141. Again, 3 more days, my friends. What is going to happen in 3 days? On the 21st of this month, I want to know. What is going to happen on the 21st of this month? 21, I've been going over it the last couple of days. 21, 21, 21, 21. And then again on June 12th. And then again on August 4th. What are these dates? Why and how come I'm remembering them? Just like you send me notes and say, what do you think about this? I've been thinking about this. Well, I'm just telling you a little bit about what I'm thinking about. I don't come into this cassette. At certain times, I come in here and I present myself just as is. No more. Not a storm headed in here, try to entertain you, over-entertain you, and then you looking at them when it comes to like the cassette, well, he acted like a real fool, and yeah, he was good, but you know what? Let's not encourage an idiot. Yeah, so, anyways, I understand. So let's go on to the next part, if I can find it. Okay, which was also, don't forget, I talked about 2011. I have the fish down here. I don't even know where, and I dropped on my paper. Okay, so I'm starting from scratch because I'm not picking anything up. I know there's something I wrote down here. Here it is. Okay, so now we're going to go back to H. Okay, H must be jumped over because when you walk, okay, you are making this kind of movement, okay, and a little bit open. That's basically like an ace. Every time your knees pass each other, okay, they are transferring the energy constantly, spirit and soul, and spirit and soul, and spirit and soul. It's the same thing, okay? Your kneecap does the same thing down by all your joints, okay? So if you're someone with hip problems, okay, it may have started a long time ago, but it's sick. You have to reunite yourself with the understanding of the truth and revelation of what this world is actually about if you want a long, healthy life. And then again, once you understand the totality of this, you may not want to live more than about 80 years and say, okay, oh Lord, I'm ready. Because that's what it basically is going to come down to one day. And it's already like that with some people in the world saying to God, I'm ready. My family is ready for my departure. I can go. You can't leave your family go, you know, just like that. That's why some people, that when they lose their husbands, 3 years later they die because they've lost that attachment to the world. And some people get to stay a whole lot longer to suffer because that's what they did in this world. They made others suffer. So they just give them a little taste of their energy, because when you return to heaven and you want to take on another world, the stronger your soul is, the easier the next world will be. Every time you fatigue oneself into and out of worlds, you will always change the consistency of what will happen to you and where you will go in the next world. And therefore, once you move up the ladder in the pyramid and change pyramids, you will now get choices of your own of which worlds you want to go, because we all must go. Our minds cannot sit on the shelf. They must always be moving and entertaining itself, because an unentertained mind is a useless mind. So it must be entertained constantly, whether it's helping, whether it's teaching, whether it's learning, regardless of what it is the mind needs. Because if you're not teaching your mind anything properly, and you take away from your mind what your mind wants, it might decide to take away from you. That's why when you see the deck of cards and the Jack of Spades comes out, and it sometimes looks like a noose, because the Jack knows the end of the game is with the brain. And who's connected to the brain? Alpha, the omega of all. Do you understand what Alpha Omega is all about? Alpha 1, Omega 15. Total is 16. 16 plus Jack, which is a total 25, which is the Queen and King, 12th and 13th card, makes a total of 41. The 41 times what I already did as a mathematical equation. Do you remember the 625, which was half of pi 23, which was once 3.1415, in which what happened to pi, it went to 2 and 1 and 3 and 1 went to 2, okay, in which it could have went to 4. You see, the 4 was on the left side. I made a mistake, but at the same time I made the mistake, I got the same answer. Well, I got a different answer, but I'll explain it to you. The mistake I made is because it started with the 4, with the 3 over the 1 should have been added to the 4, and it should have been brought to the higher level, okay? If the 1 was higher than the 3, then it would have been brought to the lower level, okay? So now we have 1. So now pi would look like this. But before I finish, I want to explain the last one. We got to number 41. On Monopoly, 41 is the Mediterranean. If you multiply the 41 from the original answer we got, remember 555 world, 625. If we multiply this by 41, okay, we'd end up with the Mayan end calendar of 25,625. Now, how many 3s or 7s would be in that? Before we bring this cassette to a close, I don't like to use the word end because 55 and 4 is 59, and it's still under the speed limit. But delta, entrance, and exit is not the excitement in my world. Okay, so what was I going to calculate here? 41 pi, right, pi, 25, 625, 25, 620, 25, 625, divided by 3 equals 85, which is 13 from the center of the dice, the passage, 4, 1, which is the one God, okay, connected to the sixth spirit, along with the 4 delta, which is the part connected of the brain. You see, 1 is God, right? It always stays there, but the brain is 4. Beta's on the other world. He runs beta. It's like going into your office on the other side. He comes into beta. Then he goes into the creation room. He uses the alpha spirit, which is the water and a few other things. And then he uses the beta spirit, which is 2 times the alpha spirit, because they creates 2 times, and he has 2 of everything in 2 angles. So that goes into that side. So we have 4 and 1. Then it goes 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. It can't be 5 because 5 is in the middle. Do you understand what I'm saying? This answer can't be 5 because it's 8541. Now, if you want to get a totality to this answer, it actually says 2536. 2536. Jack of creation. And the 0.66 is the creation is, and I don't know how many decimals are, but they're all 6s because I did a video prior to this where I showed you that if you do the alphabet, you know the telephone, all the letters on the telephone, well, I explained why on the telephone that the 7 and the 9 always have an extra letter. It might be different on your phone because you jump over 8 because the 7 and 9 is the spirit and the birth soul. That's why it's 7 and you get 2 more. Listen, you're born as 6 man, okay? Plus the 2 beta, plus the 1 spirit, you come up to 9. But when you come into this world, okay, you get the 19 spirit, okay? But you become man 6 because you can't live in the red world. You got to live in the black world, according to the way I see and understand these formations, okay? So anyways, let me get back to what I was at. We were counting numbers. I was doing pi. So yes, and we got this number. So now I'm going to, Divide the 25, 6, 25 divided by 7 equals that. I don't like that. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the 25, 6, 25, and we're going to come up with 52, 1, 52. You come up with this answer. This is bringing everything to the 7 level. Now look, 5, 2, and 1 is 8. Now, because we're removing the 1, we're giving 1 here. 5, 2, and 1 is 8. 1, 5, and 2 is 8. 88. Nothing in the middle. 8 and 8 worlds. 8 and 8 worlds. 2 and 2 worlds. 2 and 2 to the 7, 7 is 55. 5 and 5 is 10 to God. 1 and 0 plus 1 and green, life. So there you go. You got your answer for that. And that was based on pi. But now, like I said, there's another way to do pi. Okay. And the other way to do pi was this way. Was to go inside itself. 31415, 31415. I know I made a mistake. And use 303 for the center. Well, if you want to use 303 for the center, well, right away I know where to go. You know why? 303? Because 3 to 6 is 3, right? And 9 to 6 is 3. Three to 6 is 3. 9 to 6 is 3. 3 and 3 is 6. The value of these two equal this value. 0, 303. Because this is what you're talking about. Usually I tell you, if I want to remove these two, I can leave this one. But now that this one is here, I only use the 0 because that's the counterbalance. Although this number is 6, the halfway point is half. 5. So then you got this. So now you got 303. So that's you know, creation of creation. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 and 9 is 15. Okay? The one spirit of the 5 God is us. Now listen, I'm going to explain to you something. The one spirit of the 5 God is us. And what happens? Why is he the 5 God? Okay? Because the one spirit, you see anything there in ones? Yeah, the circle in the center is 1. 2, 1, 2. The one spirit. God is, okay, the 5 spirit of the 1 spirit of the 4 spirit. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's God. Okay, plus he's got the spirit inside that world. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. That's God. Plus us inside the beta world. There's more than 1 in the center. This total is 10. So when you play roulette, 10 and 11, okay, 10, you're into life. 11, you're into life with spirits. So 10 only says it's 10 because you're into life. 1 means 1 level. Okay, up 10, 0. And then all the level of 10. 11 says you have the 1 spirit because first level is only talking about God. When you get to 10, okay, you've created the 1 spirit. You take all kinds of potions. You put them together, 1 to 9. What comes out? The totality of everything you put in. Take 9 ingredients, throw it all into 1 pail, mix it all up. What do you got? You got the 10th. You got whatever you made from the 9. That's 10. That's in the spirit world under number 1, 4, and 7. Now you mix that up. And you take that 10 and you split it in 2. So now that it's split in 2, it's the same thing in this world. And then the same thing in man's world. Now we have this one to work on and this one to work on. But we only work on this one to make this one. Okay? But this one is only the angel. This one has to double and make the same thing in each one. Okay? The reason for the straight back. Okay? Because one of them, you're completely making a complete change, okay, and your decision of what you do is going to end up in the next one, okay. Straight back is the sole decision of whatever this is going to be, okay. Straight back is the same division of what this will ever be. This one is this one duplicated. It becomes two 45-degree opening angles, totaling of 90. Okay, it's like 180 minutes on your clock, 10:30 and 1:30. Well, this one will just say 1:30 on your clock over here. Okay, at the same time you're creating, you see how close this angle has become, right? That's God's number 7. Okay, the L angle is what comes out. The V angle, which looks like an L, okay, the complete V, is it an L? Which way should it be? God's angle always has to go straight up. So his angle may create either the 7, may be a long-nosed 1, because it could be at the end, the cup he takes it in is the Jack. But let me not get off. These are two equal worlds. He takes from this world, and he brings it into here to make one world. In this world here, he takes it from this world, brings it into this world here. This world here, the beta world, divides it up from this point, brings it into this world and this world equally, and that's why they're evenly split, these two differences. There's also the L angle, which I did not mention because I'm not quite sure. The L angle may be just a footing. A footing, because when you tilt the L angle on the side, let me draw this for you. When you see the V, when you stand an L there, it supports the V. Either the leg can turn in or the leg can turn out. And that's one of the reasons our letters have little legs on them, up or below, because they're always connecting or balancing angles. This would be LV now, okay, as simple letters, Las Vegas, or 12 and 22 equals 34, which means the one arm of God's life. Why? Because this is a queen and a jack together in the French cards. 22 and 12, 34, equal to saying one spirit. 34, 010, Omega. I never even got into what I started this, so I want to sort of end it on this if I can. What happens, okay, reason of 8. Here's your 8. There's two worlds here, but look at the line in between. This we would call your digital worlds, dividing the worlds, okay? One world, which means one dice cube, one world, which means dice cube, and one line over here. When you look at it, it's an H, just like this H over here. Here, it's an I. How come this one's this size and this one's this size? Because this one is two worlds, and the in-between of what this line actually is, okay? The in-between of what that line actually is you. You split this, and you split this. This is your cover-up for your spirit, okay? If I show you, let me show you something. I put the line through there for this line, okay? Up here and down here is from the heavens and from the soul, from the earth. I take this line and cross the heavens into you, because like I told you, we jump over 8, because man is the 8. We don't need the 8. We are the 8. We are everything. If we were not here, we'd be nothing. At the same time, what I did, I still have the I, is I put 2 slants. Why did I put those 2 slants? I put those 2 slants because that is the 1 and 3 creation spirit of beta coming into this world. So it hits here on the bottom, it hits here. It shows you 5 at the top, okay? Because God is 10, but 5 going up and 5 going down. His 5 going down are right here. So you're right in between the 2 legs of God, okay? And there's a cross in between the 2 legs of God, showing 2 aces, 2 straight back aces and a jack. And then we ask ourselves, why do they call the game blackjack? And this would be the design that would represent it. Do you understand what it is? This is V. This is the I letter. Unless it can be 3 worlds in a row or 4, I'm going to extend this and make this bigger. Have you followed me all the way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bar center, 4, 5, 6. This bar here is 4, 5, 6. The I is 2, 5, 8. It means the heavens. If this means the heavens, this is blackjack. Valet means the jack. Jack and 2 aces. This is the biggest blackjack. In fact, you know what this is all about, my friends? It shows you. 1V created 2 cards. Beta, God is here. We're here. We split the cards. We had 2 aces. And God laid a jack on us. We won both hands. But we're not paid 1.5 times. Why? Because man was equal to God. He was 2. That's why in blackjack, usually they don't like you to split them more than 3 times. Because you can't be 4. If you split them 4 times, you are equal to God. And your chances of getting a 10 are so high that when you do get that 4th 10 or 5th 10, okay, if you win 2 out of 5, you only lost 1. You only lost an even number of money. And that wouldn't be fair to the casino because they're the gods. Any game, any place, whatever you want to do, wherever it is. Then it came out to red, 3 dice. Red, yellow, go. RYG. Angel resident with 53 and 55. Why is this 53 and 55? I'm going to explain it to you right here. 18 and 25. 43. Baltic. 43 and 7 is 50. The total of these 3 dice, their colors, or the red lights colors, say 50, which means the 40, 10, 10, 10 world, and the 10. The game. The game. Okay? So, now where did I get this 53? Just give me a second. Oh, yes, yes, yes. The question now comes, red, we know it's the angel resident, okay? God's spirit. The Y is the yellow. Why? No why, no why, no why. Yellow, yes, yellow. So it doesn't tell me enough yellow sometimes. So I just put the word Y, because there's a Y. This added up equals 53. 53 means man and his spirit, which is one of the jokers. So if man is the spirit, one of the jokers, man goes on the yellow light. Then what happens, okay, you have to add on 2, because there's 2 jokers, and the other one is 2, is 55. And Freedom 55 says go, and you can go as fast as you want in that world, because you can't go fast enough. You know that? That angel world, they're so high and flying so fast, they are going totally fast. The word Y describes it. And then there's G, go. Well, go, everybody knows. G is the 7th letter. It means the gates are opened and go, God of Omega. Y, angel resident of the Christ element. DWN, 455. Angel world speed raceway. The H is the I. So when God says I and he's in French, he's upside down. This is how God says hi, but he spells it this way because he's up this way and that way. I told you, he's always going like this, and like God's an old drunkard with a sock on the back of his head with little pom-poms and a cherry on top saying, "Hey, lady, I need another beer." Did you know he's just like that? He is 100% proven fact an old drunk. Because when you believe in God and that's the way you act, that's the way you portray of your God. So you must never forget, what you do to him. What you do to him angers him, and he lets that out on all of us, if not most of us, some of us, and some few. That's the way it works. You anger him, he puffs a storm. Gets mad. How else do you want God to get mad? He's not allowed really to do anything in this world but just causes disasters. That's why Nostradamus was able to see all this, because he had those dreams. He had the same dreams I had. Anyways, we've gone over an hour, 3 cassettes in a row. Then again, the 53 is the freedom, but what is the 55 freedom? The cards, the joker, The box. Open the box, two sides. You got freedom 55. At one point, you're into heaven. At one point, you're on the road. The next point, you're in the heaven. At one point, you're in the home. Have you ever slept? Well, you've been in heaven. You go to sleep at night, you dream you're in heaven, you get up in the morning, you're on the road again. On the road again. I'm just not telling you these points because I think they match. I'm quite sure they are possibly matching and make sense because they are what they are. God has done what he has done, the most fantastic, intelligent guy. Until you learn how intelligent God is, some of us really don't want to understand how God is, yet we still don't go and penetrate ourselves into the lives of going to church every weekend. And hopefully maybe within the near future, maybe I will be going to my synagogue. But if I go to my synagogue and I cannot speak, I cannot be there. I cannot go to a place that will stop me in my tracks. I am the wolf that gains the power, that shares the power. Do not stop me, my friends. Do not stop me, my friends. Come on board. It is very easy. Either subscribe, like, and if you don't do any of those, why not? Why not? But I don't ever really want to ask. The best thing is, you want to come on board in MrTacpans? Just think inside of you. There's truth in there. Think it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. If you want to talk to others, go ahead. Make fun of it most of the time because mostly everybody will laugh at you. Always make fun of me. You must make fun of me. If you do not make fun of me, everybody will laugh. If we get enough people laughing in the right way, making fun of me, eventually they will call it the comedy nests. And then I'll be reflected from that side. So I came in the back door telling everybody to think ugly of me. They did bring out the Moody Coyote ugly, and everybody did show up. So what's wrong with me going the same route? I'm Baba Black Sheep. Have you any wool? My friends, I have none left. I have given it all out. But as soon as it comes in, you will be notified online that I have more wool to give. Because right now, as you can see, my shirt is very dark. My mind is slightly cloudy as this video is coming to its short. But before we go, from beneath his cloak, he pulled another ace. I told you, they both had cards in their hands. God saw what he was doing. He didn't care. What are you going to do with an old soul anyways? An old soul, an old shoe, an old sock, all the same things. You weren't talking about spirit. You didn't hear him say spirit. Many souls were on the line. The Spirit of God. Where did I hear Spirit? Tell me. I want to hear that song again. Oh, I'm going to decipher that song. I know. Give me the Da Vinci Code painting, The Last Supper, or give me that Spanish Train. Give me anything. Give me anything. Anything. I don't want this to stop. Oh Lord, please don't let it stop. Don't let it stop. Don't let it stop. Please don't let it stop. Oh no 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 no. Okay, let's go on to the last name. We have the 53, which is the 52 cards, which makes up the game, okay? Plus, you come into the game as the Joker. You open up the pack, you got 55, okay? Card, Joker, box. Thus, the box, okay, is not the last number. Although it's the last thing that happens when everything's wrapped up. It still goes into the box. And the doors are closed. So what we do next, okay, I'm going to hold this back up here and see where I'm at. Okay. Cut the cards. Shuffle and cut. Because the cards are unwrapped. They have to shuffle them and cut them. They cut the cards. Okay. CUT totals 44. That means... okay, there's no spirit. 44 has no spirit because if you multiply 9 to 5, the average is 45. The one spirit is missing. And there's one spirit that is missing is that cut card. They have to take a card and cut it because the card in between adds as the one spirit. That makes 45. Now, what is the value of that card? That value of that card will be the 8 card because that will be the last part of the two sides of heaven. Okay? Usually you would say it's the 5 card, but it's the 8 card. Usually it's the 5 card if you were using both sides of the deck. But you are. Because what you take out is not on the bottom. You know that, right? What's on the top of the deck is not on the bottom. It's a trick people do, but I'm going to do it with my voice. Once you put the cut card in, that card should be valued in the 5 position, regardless how far down it is. The bottom part, what's in the shoe, is the 8. The first part, okay, is A, 1, 2, 3. And why is that? Because on the average card in blackjack, when it comes down to the last player, when the number of cards are picked out of the shoe, the guy will have to get a minimum of 2, but an average of 3, because 777 is that average. Is that correct? No, it's 10.5, and you can't get 10.5 in 3 cards. That's why we have to go back to 21, because we're not playing blackjack 10.5, 10.5, 10.5 to get 31.5. Anyways, I'm not sure if you really understood me. And then, once you cut the cards, you have to discard one. So when you say discard, hey, you want to discard? THIS means this card. Why? God made a choice for a wife. Okay? And he chooses this card. Why this card? Because the first card, do you know why? Does anybody know why? Because you got to get rid of the spirit. The dealer is God. He takes out the first card. He becomes God. He's number 2. Card each, right? 1, 2, 3, how many players? When does the last person get the card, right? If you give out the first card to the first player, it's not the banker, it's the player. You can't give the first card in the shoot to the player. You're going to give him all the luck. It's superstition in my mind, but that's how the numbers work. And it's a beginning knowledge to maybe I'm slightly off base, and it has to be remolded, just like I've said we remolded pi. So anyways, from this to that, we're going to leave it go. Raphael, do you think it's over? It certainly is. And the constellation of Pegasus 7286. I am so happy for Planet X. Come on, baby. That's what I forgot to tell you. The reason why, okay, is because this is the way it works. Here's the heaven in the center. God is in the center. Whatever you want to put in the center. Let's say you're in the center. No, God's in the center. God's got his angle here, okay, of the beta heaven, meaning he's the energies, everything that's going on in this earth. That's him. That's why. So he's in the center, -1. He doesn't have to be there because he's working here. But when he's here on 1, right, he doesn't go. He can go, and he's in 2, doing things in 2, 2 and 3, 2 and 1, 2 and this, 2 and this. Okay, but 2 needs the 5 to get to the 9. That's why. Have you ever seen a delta check? The delta check is hold on a second. Let me see. Delta check is 2 to the 9, 2 to 9, 2 to 9. Because she took the route using the red, this middle of hers must go up. Okay? When she goes on an angle, okay, and needs to use up the same amount of space, every time you put a line on an angle, the distance is farther than on a straight. So you have to minus it from the bottom, put the bottom up, so the totality of a shape that you really can't make much of is actually up, because everything else is angled out. You know what I'm saying? If you pull a piece on your pants up, the 2 sides might come in like that. It's just, there's so many things. If you ask me tomorrow something, I may not remember all of this. I did a bunch of things brand new for you just now. I never knew. I did 3 cassettes today. I prepared for one thing and did something completely else. Anyways, say goodbye to this guy right here. This is everything you ever want to be. Okay? This is what you want to be in. This is the smallest picture you ever want, the most powerful picture in the world. Okay? Between the 2 minds, see the Pontiac? Between 2 Pontiacs, okay? You're in the center of the heavens, and all 8 of the stop sign are now inside of you. And this is what the mind looks like. And also, this is what I call the English Magen David. supposed to actually go like this. When the world ends, okay, this part and this part turn around, become a spaceship. This is a spaceship. It's one part of it. It's one wing of a spaceship. That's basically where we are. The whole planet, everything. But because certain things are big and other things just take up the space. But they take up a space. How do they take up? The wall's 1,000 feet to my left, 1,000 feet to my right, nothing in between. What's taking up my place? Boundaries. Anyways, I already said thank you. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus, based on the Planet X theory of 10 plus 1 plus 1. There are 2 more on the way. If Planet X is here, there are 2 more on the way. If there are 2 more on the way, that means there must be a main ship. A main ship. Why must there be a main ship? Because ABC takes along D with it. And if D comes with it, D, okay, must hold E. And within the other side of E is actually everything else, just a huge ship. Wow, the heavens are coming closer. That's what it is. 4 planets move closer. 4 new planets come in. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth. Mercury, in between. 1 is a planet. Then Venus, in between 2 and 3 is a planet, and in between 3 and 4 is a planet. So there should be 3 coming. So if 3 are coming, how big is this ship? How big is the ship? Stop. We got to stop. Stop. Tell me to stop. Raphael 7286, based on the constellation and the myth of Zazareth, here in the world of the super train system of hyper consciousness coming into this world. I am one definitely involved. And I thank you, O Lord. I thank you. From the north, the east, the west, and the south, based on all the cards in the deck, may I be a joker for life under your arm. Thank you.